All right, guys. So I am really excited. I've been talking about doing this for a long time on stream. If you haven't checked out my streams before, I do a lot of just chatting. And within just chatting, we talk a lot about comic books and nerdums, DC, Marvel, MCU, all that stuff. I also host the podcast called Comic Book Nation, and we talk about all that stuff too. This year I decided to, as I would do, I decided to do a MCU, all of the shows and movies released tier list. This is my first real tier list that I'm doing on stream. So your opinion counts. I am actually really curious to see what you guys think. And we're going to talk about this. This is going to get a little salty. I already know people are going to be like, what the heck are you thinking? Like, are you out of your freaking mind? But I know my truth. So we're about to get into this with Yondu, the doggy's help. And yeah, so let's do this. We're going to do a tier list. I would be so down to do more tier lists if this is something you guys like. Okay, S tier is like God tier. Is that correct? I'm going to start with the easiest thing for me. The worst, right? Like the worst. I already know what this is. And I'm not even going to like... Okay, Falcon Winter Soldier for me is at the bottom. Let me tell you why. It was a great show. I have to say that. They did a heck of a job. They really did. But I have to be super strict because the competition that it's going up against is amazing. I already know that almost everybody else is going to go like this. They're going to go what if. Everyone's going to put what if below Falcon Winter Soldier, let's be honest. Can you bring me my package, Max? Hey, Max. Okay, you weren't acknowledging me. The last bottom of the bottom is Falcon Winter Soldier. I did not feel connected to the characters. It felt like I didn't understand what was happening. It was super depressing without Steve Rogers. I also didn't feel like I had closure with Steve Rogers on it. I will say this, Winter Soldier was in my top 5 favorite heroes for a big part of, MCU, the phase that Winter Soldier was Winter Soldier, like when he was first introduced. And then I read comics of Winter Soldier, and I loved Winter Soldier, and I love his story. I love Bucky's story. I just think it's a really cool backstory and everything like that. I did not like Bucky in the show. I didn't even get like the trauma part of it. I didn't even get like a connection to him now. Like my only part that I really enjoyed were flashbacks of him as Winter Soldier. And to me, there weren't enough of those. So that is why. that is why. You know what's really interesting? Let's touch on Black Widow. Black Widow is such an underrepresented hero, like Avenger. I did not feel particularly upset with her. I mean, come on, if you haven't seen it by now, I don't know what to tell you with her demise in Endgame. I've never been like the biggest Black Widow fan, but I was so surprised by this film. The second watch through was even better than the first for me. And I became a big fan. I even cosplayed as her because of this. I was like, damn, okay, she is kicking ass. And I loved her character, and it made me really sad. It made me sad all over again. When I went and watched back Endgame, it was so much harder to watch. And I'm gonna watch Endgame again after watching Hawkeye, and I guarantee you I'm gonna feel the same exact way. It's gonna be very difficult. So Black Widow was shocking to me. I'm gonna go B here. Really surprised with how much I love Black Widow. Tomb Raider Trilogy is free to download Epic Game Store. You have until January 6th. Oh, nice, Berserker. That's great information. Black Widow and Hawkeye have my heart this year. I agree. Okay, let's go to Hawkeye then. Hawkeye was my absolute favorite Christmas addition to my Christmas television programming. I am a Christmas programming watcher. I think the rewatchability is going to be spectacular, but something else that stood out to me on this is the week-to-week programming. In certain shows, I wasn't excited. Like, I felt let down by certain episodes. Like I felt like some were like really good and some were really lame. This one was consistent. Every episode in the series was like at least an 8, in my opinion. So I super enjoyed. I very, very much enjoyed Hawkeye, and it is going to be a staple for me. So for now, I'm going to throw it here. I'll probably move this around. I'm going to throw it in an A slot. Yes. Okay. How do you guys feel about that? What are you thinking? Do I have anything else I need to say about that? Here's another thing about Hawkeye. I never cared about him at all. I was like, he is so irrelevant. He doesn't do anything. I don't get his character. I don't know why we care about him in the Avengers. I know that's really harsh, but I'm not as much of an Earthbound hero lover. So the Spider-Mans, the Falcon Winter Soldiers, the, Black Widows, like the ones that aren't traveling galaxies and like guardianing it up, doing like guardian stuff, I'm kind of like, meh, it's okay, but they're not my favorite, which is why they did a hell of a job with Black Widow and Hawkeye to get this girl to go, oh my God, I love these characters. I love their storylines, and I'm all freaking about it. I'm all about it. Let's go Shang Chi. So Shang Chi, I actually watched at home with my parents. And I think that watching this movie not in a theater was a little bit of a letdown. I think that it needed, like Black Widow, I feel like I could have watched it. I watched it on a big projector, but I could have watched it on a TV screen, and I think I would have really enjoyed it. I don't feel like Shang-Chi was experienced best on a TV. It felt flat to me. I kind of feel like a jerk ranking it because I don't think I got the full experience that was intended. And I was not very intrigued. And Mortal Kombat, the original, is my favorite. I think it's probably about number 3 in my favorite movies of all time. That movie shaped me as a kid. It was pivotal. I used to turn on the entire Mortal Kombat soundtrack, and I would choreograph fight routines and dance routines to that song to the songs on there, because I was just like so excited about martial arts. And I don't know, Shang-Chi just really didn't get me. And Judy, you have a really good point. Big CGI battle at the end was so boring. I felt like it was boring too. I found myself kind of checking my phone from time to time during Shang-Chi. Winter, that's another beautiful point. Shang-Chi felt disconnected from the MCU. I agree. I would say it was probably, I'm going to go C here because it's obviously better than Falcon Winter Soldier. But if I'm putting Shang-Chi here, I'm moving What If up to the same level. Shang-Chi and What If in the same, I know, bun. I really liked, okay, I'll get into it now. You guys are perfect. You're prompting me like, this is like a team effort. I love it. Okay. Let me tell you why. What If to me was so unexpected for me personally, because I don't watch animated stuff very often. I don't watch any anime. I feel like this year was the first year that I really got into any animated superhero type show ever. I'm talking even childhood, with Invincible. Invincible was huge for me. I loved Invincible. It was a little gory. It was a little over the top for me, but I still really enjoyed it. And I think because of that, I felt a little bit more open to What If. I said it at the beginning of the list. I'm going to say it again. Doctor Strange is my favorite character. He's my favorite superhero. So please know that is probably heavily influencing how much I like this show, because he got a lot of airtime. But I really genuinely looked forward to every single What If episode. And on top of that, it held my attention. Every single episode, I was not checking my phone. I was really watching and interested to see what these other What If episodes would entail, like the journey that each of these characters, or plural characters, would go through in their episodes. Like the Thor episode was awesome. I loved it. The Doctor Strange episode was intense. It was dramatic and it was heartbreaking. The zombies, if you don't know my backstory, if this is the first time you're listening to me or seeing me, the entire beginning of me getting so associated with comic books and MCU in general, it all started with me. This is going to sound funny. The Walking Dead. So I work for comicbook.com and I auditioned for them. They were looking for Walking Dead experts. And I called myself a super fan, not an expert, but boy, oh boy, did I know a lot. And I had also hung out with Norman Reedus a few times. So I was a huge fan of The Walking Dead, huge. And I got this gig with Comic Book to cover the weekly shows for The Walking Dead as they released. And that's how I got tied in with Brandon Davis and BD. We would host together. And then as The Walking Dead kind of like trickled off and less viewership started happening, Jim, after The Dead, which is the name of the show, kind of fizzled. I thought they were going to kind of let me go and not want to keep the partnership going. And instead, they actually put me onto their podcast called Comic Book Nation. Now, that was a lot to take in because the only comics I'd ever read up to that point were the compendiums of The Walking Dead. And I felt really in over my head, but I decided to make a full commitment to it. I've been reading 3 comics a week, actually more like 5 a week, like 3 a week to read. And the stream and I came to the conclusion that we've officially hit about 500 comic books I've read so far. Stay focused! I really, really, really enjoyed What If. Hey, look at me. Look at me. Actually, hold on. This is going to be even better. And we're going to get all close. We're going to click close. I think that you guys need to make a Marvel Zombies video game, and I would gladly be a tester for it. You can send it on over. I'll play it on twitch.tv/Janell Wheeler, JANELLWHEELAR, and it will be spectacular. Give me a zombie Marvel video game. Please. It'd be so good, right? Am I right? Right off the bat, if I just go, what are your favorites? I would go like this. I'd take Loki and put it S tier. I would take Wanda and I'd put it S tier, and I'd put Spider-Man S tier. But within these 3, I have an order. Please know, by the way, this is 100% my opinion. This is like my list of what I enjoyed the most. This doesn't mean that it is the best. It just means what I like the best. So for that reason, I'm putting What If in the same slot as Black Widow. No shame. No shame. Okay. Hey, Soul Vibes. If I had to rank these 3 in order, all S tier, all spectacular, then I'm gonna move those around. We'll do that. We'll do that after we place Eternals. I gotta crack my neck. Okay, it just wasn't memorable for me. Which brings me to Eternals. I'm gonna catch some garbage. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna move Black Widow. Black Widow goes here. Eternals is gonna go right here. Dead ass, guys. I'm so serious. I am a very meditative person. I feel very spiritually free. This is just who I am. I feel very fluid with beliefs and possibilities of life beyond Earth and life beyond this dimension and this plane. That's just me. I'm kind of heady like that. So this film spoke to me on a really interesting level. It kind of tickled that heady area of my soul. I went with a friend and she hated. Oh, you know, we forgot, guys. We forgot.
Yeah, spoilers.
So Eternals is just this really expansive experience, in my opinion. I'm super into the lore of it. I feel like they explained where they were during Endgame. I know that was a big question, well, where were they when the Earl and the snaps and the they handled it, right? I accepted what they said. I accepted their reasoning for not being there during that time. I really liked the chemistry of a lot of the couples. I'm trying not to spoil anything. I really, really loved certain couples' chemistry and stories. And that was like standout for me. And it wasn't just one, it was several. And that made me really, really happy. My criticism was like, I didn't care about the villainous twist, which again, I'm not going to spoil, but there was like a little villainous twist situation. I didn't really care about that. And I think that was supposed to be a big, like, oh my God, like it was supposed to be a big moment. But for me, it didn't make a lot of sense. So I just kind of tried to look past that. And that is why I can't put it higher, because I probably would have even put it higher. I thought it was gorgeous to look at. It was like an experience. And I did, yes. So Winter, I read like this full background on the Eternals. So I read a bunch of Eternals comics. So I felt prepared for it. I kind of knew what was going on. They did make a few changes, which kind of messed with me a little bit because I kept holding on to that in the very first few scenes. I was like, wait a minute, this isn't like the comics. And that kind of messed me up. But as soon as I let it go, I could really enjoy it. If you like kind of like meditative, like spiritual, if you like thinking outside of the big, like the little bubble we're in on this little planet Earth, like if you like expansive thinking, I just think it's a really cool take on a hero movie. And that's why I gave it a B. I really enjoyed it. And the ball that was dropped didn't totally ruin the experience for me. It just kind of, I was just kind of like, I wish I would have had a little bit more of this other thing that was much bigger physically and like power wise. I wish I would have had a little bit more of that. I mean, I guess I could say, like, I wish I had more of the celestial stuff, but I thought they did a great job. Eternals is coming to Disney Plus on January 22nd. I will watch it then. Ooh, I'm so curious to hear what you think about it. Let me know. Hi, Venture. I have to say, like, I know that's such a cop-out to rank the top tier, but, like, you guys have to understand, and you guys do understand.
I understand nothing.
This is amazing content that's being made. Like, you hold any of these projects, you hold Falcon Winter Soldier up to any other television show that released last year, and it is still better. Even though it's my least favorite, I like it better than almost any other show. I'm gonna start with WandaVision. WandaVision was, to me, spectacular. It was so emotionally moving, but funny in a refreshing way. Like, the comedic stuff was clever and fun. It wasn't just this typical MCU formulated thing where you have to put this like break for laughter because things got too intense. It almost poked fun at that. It almost poked fun at that MCU formula. Like, oh, we're getting emotional. We gotta make a laugh. And, you know, like suddenly she'd realize it was good. It was just so good. It was so, to me, groundbreaking in this genre of like superhero content that I just can't escape. I feel like forever emotionally bound up in WandaVision. To me, it is the one project that like I wish so badly I could get a season 2 because I want to know what happens to I want Wanda to turn. I want Wanda to be evil Wanda. Like, there's just so much that can be done with it. And they also did so much. For me, WandaVision rises to the top. WandaVision is just... I'm going to go like this, too. It was just so refreshing, and it hit every single note. Like, it checked off the comedy, cute stuff. It did this really awesome, you know, throwback call to I Love Lucy and all those other shows like that we've never seen before. But then it also got the magic and mysticism. It introduced us to Agatha. There's like a hit song in there. There's tons of Easter eggs. There's an introduction of other characters that I did not see coming, and I was just so excited about and shocked about. All right, we're almost done. We have 2 more. I'm gonna keep Loki above No Way Home. I can't believe I'm saying this because Strange is in No Way Home. But Strange in No Way Home is not my favorite version of Strange. I still feel like he would never have done that spell. It is still really hard for me, being such a big fan of Strange and reading so much backstory on Strange and how seriously he takes his role as protector. Sorcerer Supreme, I just don't, it's still so hard for me to get past that. I thought it was gonna be Loki or something, pretending to be him. I don't know. And that is like one thing that's hard for me to like grasp as and that is flawed for me because I have so much Strange knowledge and love. Also, again, a me thing. Spider-Man is not my favorite because I get kind of frustrated with the teen angst stuff. This film was not too bad about it. It was much better than the past ones, but I don't love the like teenage drama stuff. I'm past a certain age where it just kind of irritates me. Like I'm complaining and luckily it really wasn't that bad because I get it now. I get the perspective. A few moments super moving, but a few of the moments that were supposed to be really moving for me were so over the top. And I'm not spoiling, so if I'll speak in codes, like certain pivotal moments where things really take a turn, a very sad and hard turn. I just didn't really love it, and it felt over the top. It was just like too much. I also feel like it was a little too long. But so good. Guys, just know that like these are so good. I'm just nitpicking. All right. Last but not least, we're going to go Loki. I'll just give a quick rundown of why. First of all, I have to say this again. Before Loki was cool, I was a Loki fan. Loki was in my top 5 favorite heroes, villains, anti-heroes, whatever. Way before he had a show coming up, way before other people were like, I'm going to name my dog Loki. I loved Loki. I always thought he was mischievous and cool and fun and sexy. I always was like attracted to Loki over Thor. I just always loved Loki. I loved him in his villainous state. I get where he's from. I just always loved Loki. I love Loki. It lived up to every expectation I had. As Winterbite said in the chat, Mobius. God, I keep doing this. Mobius was just, his role. I love Owen Wilson too. Like, love it. Zoolander forever. Loved Mobius. I loved so many of the castings. Sylvie was just a firecracker. And I thought they did a great job of presenting what like the multiverse, the cracked multiverse, the timelines, everything. They just explained it in layman's terms, it was necessary because they're about to do some wacky stuff with us that a lot of the casual viewers of the MCU are going to be like, what in tarnation? I don't know what is going on. I think they did exactly what they needed to do to set it up and make us understand what the heck this is and made it enjoyable as hell. Like, they made it such a great time week to week. Oh God, just so unique and cool. Loki Gator is my jam. I'm a big Gator fan. I went to UF, so yeah. Let's do this. I mean, I think I've said my shtick. I think we know Tom Hiddleston, Owen Wilson, Sophie Demar. Oh my gosh, so good. The three of them the three of them or trio, you pick. It was so good. You're right. Let's do this. Since we're coming to a close, this is my MCU 2021 releases list tier maker. Feel free to tell me, like, just Go ham. Tell me what your list would sound like, what it would look like. I want to know. I'm so curious. I'm going to read all the comments. Obviously, I'm reading the live chat right now. Tell me what you think. We've talked about this so much in stream. If you guys enjoyed this, please feel free to subscribe and come on over to my Twitch. We're going to do a lot more of these coming up, especially with 2022, and these releases are going to be wild. I'm rewatching the entire MCU, so I'm going to do one. We're going to rate all of them. I feel like I can't do it. I have to rewatch it because there are so many that that are not fresh in my mind. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do a bunch of tier lists. It'll be a whole section of YouTube. This will be like my first video back on YouTube for being away for a very, very, very long time. So thank you so much. Subscribe, please, if you can. Come over to the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/JanellWheeler. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have the best end of your year. And yeah, you're awesome. Thank you. Okay,